Welcome. Welcome to our creative conversation at Musea Intentional Creativity Museums, shared live on here on Musea Center for Intentional Creativity. At the Facebook page and Musea subscriber community, the Red Thread Cafe Classroom, where we are featuring exciting, emergent, and creative conversations as part of our museum and membership programming. I am your host, Milagros Suriano-Rivera, Vice President of Programming of Musea's Intentional Creativity Foundation. I'm a Color Woman, certified teacher of intentional creativity, a guild member, and just so pleased to be able to bring this to you. Now, today's program is a little special because I'm going to be having a wonderful guest with us. But before I do, I want to thank you first for joining us. And then secondly, I want to invite you to make sure you have your cup of tea or whatever beverage you like, your red thread, maybe a journal and a pen, just in case you're inspired to take some notes. Let your muse choose what she or he or it or they want to harvest from our time together. So definitely want you to get the most out of this. Ooh. I was going to guide us through a meditation, but I decided since today we're going to be talking about the topic of the power of words, I wanted to open us up and invite you to the same meditation, but I'm going to be reading to you a poem that I actually wrote as a message that came to me through one of my paintings, which is called She Who Sees with Her Eyes. And I want to invite you to just sit back wherever you are, put your feet on the ground, and just know that the earth is supporting you and supporting and witnessing us, and that we are all connected as you just sink into presence. And the poem's name is Because I Am. I'm letting go of yesterday. Today is on my mind. This present, this now. I am here. Being, wishing, creating with my heart, connected by the red thread to the universe, breathing in this moment and letting go of tomorrow. I may get there soon enough, but this now, this moment is so precious. It is demanding to be cherished. Without it, tomorrow may never be as beautiful as only I can imagine it, because I am. And with that, I wish to invite you to embody the present of being here because you are. And that is because we do believe here in the intentional creativity community that we believe the legend that we are all connected in the invisible red by an invisible red thread. I can't find my words today, and today it's about words. So imagine that. Since before the day we were born, and that we've been working towards each other all our lives. And it must be true because here we are together, and we're going to spend the next 35, 40 minutes together and just explore the power of words. Are you ready? All right. So now that you've arrived, I'm extending the red threaded connection as a symbol of connection and a talisman that you can feel and hold and know that it is extending around the world, through the universe, to all the places and spaces that you are, and that we are in the same place in this time. So with that, I'd like to introduce our guest today, and she is not only a color woman teacher in training, but she's also a red thread guide in training, which are two of our Musea certification programs. So I am definitely honoring her for that. And she has a grandmother, a poet, an exhibit artist for the Living Legends, Echoes of Poetry, and Carnival of Spirit Love museum shows here at Musea. So Let's give a red thread tug and welcome to Michelle LaForest Roberts. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how are you, Milagros?
I am well. Thank you so much for asking. I'm just like, I can't find my words. I can feel my heart here, just like, and it might be so. If we get any type of sticky, freezing things, tech stuff, just this is the way we work. We are beings of energy, and my energy may be impacting the broadcast. So just bear with us and just follow the words, listen with your heart, and the message that is for you will be received. So, Michelle, you want to start us off by just letting our
Yeah.
listeners and viewers know a little bit about yourself?
Okay, as she said, I'm Michelle LaForest Roberts. Nickname is Mickey. I am a mother, grandmother, and great grandmother too. And I am an ordained minister in an interfaith, interspiritual seminary, One Spirit Interfaith Seminary, and an artist and a poet. I am a separated. Well, I'm separated from my husband, and we've been separated for quite some time. But that's pretty much it. I'm just who I am.
Oh, you're more than that, my love. You are more than that. You have been such an inspiration to me, which is why I actually invited you to be here so that you can share your love for words and your wisdom, honoring you as definitely an elder, a woman of experience, and you've definitely meant that for me. So thank you so much for that blessing. So,
Oh, well,
yeah. I love this theme of poetry, um, because I've in the past used poetry to express myself. I was once in a toxic relationship. At the time, I didn't know it, but the person I was with, for some reason, never had the space to receive my expressions of love, concern, or just just communication, dreams for the future. So what I would do is actually write poetry to express how I felt and mail it to them, and then that would cause a conversation. So it's funny that we have to have these types of relationships sometimes where you can't even speak to the person one on one, but you can write it all down on paper. So it's just really, really great.
and hope that they read
And
it.
oh, well, yeah, he read it because he would call me like, what are you talking about? I'm like, let me tell you. And we know here that, one of the teachings of intentional creativity is that when we create with intention and conscious awareness during any act of creation, we're actually creating a portal in which we can access our inner world. And by activating the energy of the observer as we witness ourselves in the act of creativity, in whichever form that creativity takes, whatever form it wants to be, whether it's a poem, a painting, a meal, a space.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the being in that observer energy that we actually get to activate that and really get deep in there and get access to all of the yumminess in us. Right? Do you find that to be true?
That's true. That is very true. It really is. And the thing is, I was thinking about this last night. Every time I wrote a poem or did anything in mixed media or crafting, I was using intentional creativity. However, I wasn't aware of those words, until
Mm-hmm.
Shiloh. So I didn't really realize that that's what I was doing, but I was always creating with intent, always. And it's just a way of, yes, observing what it is you're listening, and you're breathing, and you're listening, and you're breathing, and you're listening, and you're hearing what's coming forth through you. And you are the observer. Edgar Allan Poe said, poetry is the rhythmical creation of beauty in words. And yesterday was
Say it
World Poetry
again.
Day. And so that was a good thing. Yeah.
Yes.
And a friend of mine sent me that, knowing that I would be on this broadcast. And I said, isn't that something? The synchronicity of it, World Poetry Day, and we are today talking about poetry. So yeah.
Yes, we are. And we're going to talk about poetry, but like I said, this works a lot in painting or any other type of art form. And I experienced it for the first time when I was
Yeah.
actually doing my apothecary painting class, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And we're exploring with our community this concept and idea and theme of creative sanctuary. And we're actually following this, uh, the wheel of the year, where we're following the 8 stages of the moon, and just like, our connection and relationship to everything, to the moon, to the cycles, to the seasons, to creation, to ourselves. And um, for this first quarter, we've been exploring reimagining, which is what we're discussing here today. And with
Mhm.
apothecary, that really, that was powerful for me, because with that process, I was able to reimagine myself through the process of the painting, and the medicine and the remedies that I was creating. They're just so powerful to me, because I'm actually living into them now. Like, I was creating a remedy of being, how shall I say, relevant, and being an impact, and also being conscious, like really imagining myself as being all of these things. And it's been such a wonderful
Mhm.
experience for me. And it's like every day I get a chance to remember that, and to take in that medicine, and let it work on me a little bit more every day. So this right here, what we're doing, is me reimagining myself in a way of making an impact through sharing your story, and giving, being part of this journey for you, and serving our community and our membership in this way. And I love that I was invited you, because you're a student. So I want you to model what it looks like when you come in to be certified in one of our certification programs. And you're still in the journey, and you're not only in one, but you took two. So it's like, just like, creativity gave me language. So we always talk about the power of image and word, and regardless of what the form is, it's just as powerful when we do it with intention, and with love, and with presence. And for me, creativity was my language, because I didn't have the words all the time. I didn't know how to express myself, or I felt that I didn't have enough to say, or whatever I did say was not relevant or important. But through creativity and painting, it's given me all of that. So I'm just so grateful for
Yes.
it.
It's funny that you say that. I about reimagining yourself,
Hmm.
because when I was with my husband, I wrote down the place that I wanted to have living on my
Hmm.
own. And I wrote down everything from hardwood floor. I just wrote it down. And probably 7 years later was when I actually moved, and I was cleaning out, and I looked at it and I realized that I actually was living in the type of place that I'd reimagined myself in. So
Mm.
words are very powerful. And each time that I wanted to move from each apartment, I always put into words I would see myself living here or living there, and in what part of town. And it always happened. It's easy
Mm.
to reimagine and reinvent yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely, definitely. And sometimes we don't know we're doing it, and we have to look back. So I'm witnessing you in that realization that you've been actually creating your reality, and reimagining yourself into a new situation, into a future that you can see. And that's what intentional creativity is about. It's about us, stepping from this point in our lives, not even looking back and going and rehashing all of the stuff. Like, right now, where I am in this moment, as I invited us all to in the beginning of the broadcast, stepping into, over the threshold into this new vision. And it's just so yummy, yummy, yummy. I love what we do. I love what we do. Um,
I do too. I really do.
so I want to invite you to talk about, like, talk about how how poetry what poetry means to you in relation to Creative Sanctuary. Like, what is poetry?
Poetry for me is my creative sanctuary.
Mm.
Is one of them anyway. It's when I write, as I said, I'm listening, I'm breathing, and it's a safe space for me because, as you said, even though I'm a person and I am a communicator, sometimes those that I wanted to express, I wasn't able to express verbally, but I found that I could put it on the paper. And the thing that I like about the creative sanctuary of poetry is that I didn't have to worry about an audience. I didn't have to worry about, someone saying, what are you, even if they're going to read it later, or even if I read it to them as I'm writing it, it fully expresses how I'm feeling. I'm able to freely flow with what I'm feeling. And yes, and poetry is so different for everyone. We talked before, to me, it's like jazz in a sense, because I can listen to some music, you can listen to the same piece of music, and that may, for you, you may be walking along the beach. For me, I may be sitting in rain. We're all hearing something different when we hear the music. And that to me is the same way with poetry. I have my intention, I know what I'm trying to convey. But when you hear it or when you read it, it may say something entirely different to you. And that's really okay. It's
It is
okay. It
okay.
doesn't have to be my intention. My intention came out for me through my words, but where it lands for you is what you need at the time.
Yes, yes. And what you're willing to, what you're willing to receive. And a lot of times when we create, if we're creating and putting our love, whether we're creating for ourselves or for someone else, sometimes we'll have a painting that we've had sitting for a while. I mean, I don't know. I've had a couple that are sitting, but I have trust that whoever that painting was meant to be, whoever that painting is speaking to, when they're ready to be, to receive that message, it'll come through and it will find that connection. And that's
That's
what
right.
I know without a doubt. Like, these are portals. Like, they are speaking to me, through me. And then when I'm ready to let it go, because that message that I'm creating for myself and that healing, we're actually creating for each other. So that's the part of the witnessing as well in our community, where when we share, we're sharing for ourselves, but the messages we hear and verbalizing them, they are resonating through the cosmos,
Hmm.
through everything, time and space, and whoever else it's resonating with, it's a wave, and it's real, it's tangible. It just has to land where it's meant to land and received by who wants to receive it.
And it
So,
will reach that person. It will, or
mhm.
people, not just that person. It will reach them.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Um, when we were getting ready for this, you were telling me a story about well, tell us, how did you come to poetry? Like,
Um, well, actually, I wrote my first poem, and I don't mean school when you have to write for an assignment. My first unassigned poem I wrote in my 20s, and it was about purpose, actually.
mm,
And I wrote for a while, and then I didn't write again until maybe in my 40s. I was taking a creative writing class. And when I was in the class, the teacher said to me, "You are a writer. You should be writing." And on the way home from that class, I kept saying, "How can this be? How can this be? I don't have a degree. I've never taken writing before. How can this be? How can she say to me that I am a writer?" And from that inquiry of how can this be, I went home and wrote a poem entitled How Can This Be? And it is a poem about possibilities.
mm,
It's a poem about things that you never could imagine happening for you. That's what that entire poem, How Can This Be, is about. And so
mm,
I just started again, truly I believe the 40s are a time of real transformation, because it was in my 40s that so many things were changing from so many. I wrote my poems place, and I was 46. Or
mm.
about to be 47 when I wrote that. It just, the 40s were just a big thing for
Well, I'm
me
glad you had a
anyway,
good
with everything that
decade
I was
there.
going through.
Definitely. I know. I love that. I love that you can look back and we get to a point in our lives where we start looking at our lives in decades. And I know that one of the processes we go through in our Color Woman training through our coaching is definitely to look at our lives and write our lives, for the first 1 to 10, and then 5-year intervals, and then in decades, like these years in my 40s. And we can do so much, and we experience so much in that amount of time that we don't even realize it until we put it down on paper. Again, the words are
Yeah,
having the power to actually bring that all into, like, wow, it captures
yeah.
something like it's you, but in ink and pencil and whatever it is you're using as your utensil. um and I love how you stated that you started that journey. I'm glad you listened to your teacher, by the way. um, and the poem started as an inquiry, like the seed that was,
Hmm.
and we practice inquiry a lot in intentional creativity. It's part of
All
our,
the time.
what we call metacognitive
Yeah.
process, where we actually just think about thinking while moving the pen, and we're always open and listening. And as we're creating, we're asking these questions like, who lives here? What is it I'm not
Hmm.
seeing? How can this be? And you just, you courted that question, you surrendered to it without really looking for an answer, and the answer came to you through the poetry. And that's that's
It
intentional
did.
creativity.
It,
That's intentional creativity.
it is. And someone has said, does the thought of feeling come first or both? For me, it's really, but sometimes I have a thought and or I hear a phrase, or it will create a poem feeling. I just have this feeling. And that, to address when you were saying how coming out, I I was written by Satchidananda, a guru. Satchidananda was called, Who Am I, or something like that. But it was in the chapter, he was talking about following the I, not I, but I. And as
Mhm.
I was sitting in a chair and I was reading that, and all of a sudden, it was not an out of body. I've had that before. But all of a
Oh.
sudden, I was the room. I was the
Mm.
room itself. I was sitting there reading the book, but I followed the I. In other words, he would say, who is this that's asking the question? Who is the one that's seeing behind your eyes? Who is the one that's speaking? And as I followed those questions, I was the room. And I felt that my consciousness was so expanded that I could have gone outside of the room. But like Peter in the Bible, who walked on the water and got afraid, I got afraid and there it was. I've never had that experience since.
Mm.
But I was
And
the
that's,
whole room, consciousness just
wow,
expanding.
that is so it. Like, so it. I just want to breathe that in
I
for a
was the
minute
observer.
because yes,
Yeah.
exactly. See, I knew why I asked you to come here, because you are breaking it down. You're like, thank you so much. Like, and
You
this
welcome.
is it. You get it. I'm so, oh my gosh, you just don't understand, like, my heart. And it only gets better. For our viewers, it gets better because we are working our way to sharing a beautiful thing with you. But I don't want to lose my train of thought
Right.
because Michelle has so much to offer and bless us with today. Um, you know what? We're gonna just go there. A Woman's Place. You wrote this poem and you
Okay.
read it to me in preparation for this, and it moved me. And I know I asked you if you felt like, if you've ever had an experience, or how do you feel that your poetry impacts the world or others that you shared it with. What does that feel like? Because another thing we practice in intentional creativity is to feel into things. So we write the question, the inquiry, we
Mm-hmm.
are with it, we follow the question, but we follow it through our feelings, right? And how we feel, not necessarily
Yes.
looking for an answer, but we are listening with all of our body. So,
Yes, we are.
oh my gosh, like you read me this poem and it just rocked my world. And I want to invite you to answer the question first of all, and then we're going to let you share.
Um, I've I've never tried to publish this poem, but I read it to three people and I'm crying. One
Mm,
was a young single mother. The other was a woman, a best friend of mine, slightly older than I am. But the poem, it depends on where you are and what you
mm-hmm,
hear. I wrote this poem because I, as a woman, a married woman with four children, I was feeling neglected. I was feeling misunderstood. I was feeling that I was thought of as just a wife and a mother, that I was not thought of as a person who had feelings and dreams and hopes and who needed to express herself. And I'm not saying that maybe everybody thought of me that way. I'm just saying that that is how I felt. And
mm,
when I and my husband was taking the children somewhere and he wanted me to go, and I said, no, I'm not going. And when they left, I wrote this poem. And this is the poem, 1997 in November. It's called A Woman's Place. Feeling, hurting, grieving, crying, living, loving, giving, dying, teasing, fighting, pushing, shoving, smiling, laughing, kissing, hugging, sweeping, scrubbing, washing, mending, standing, stooping, pulling, bending, cooking, slicing, dicing, peeling, praying, fasting, waiting, healing, bumps and bruises, cuts and scrapes, feeling like she's being raped, plundered, looted, torn apart, limb by limb. And then the heart, nurse, friend, wife, mother, teacher, counselor, sister, lover, all things to everyone. Use all of her. And then some. A woman's place is hard to find, but it begins inside her mind. Hidden passions, plans, and purposes pushed aside, but trying to surface through the mirrors of her soul to make her free, complete, and whole. Buried deeply in her being, much too painful to start seeing. She beholds another image, full of wrinkles, spots, and blemishes. She doesn't seem to realize she's been transformed in God's eyes. That marred image God has broken, God has cleansed, healed, and spoken. Now she can hear the Spirit's call to submit to purpose and standing tall, using spiritual strategies influence those she wants to please. The scepter beckons her to come into the presence of the throne. Giving her the kingdom is God's pleasure, for to God she is a treasure. Union brings her face to face. In the heart of God, she's found her place. When I think about all of the women who have felt and probably are still feeling like I felt at that time, it brings me to tears because you've done nothing wrong. You are worthy. You do matter. And we witness whoever needs to hear that. We witness you. We see you. It took me 7 years after that poem to move. Because I am a survivor of sexual and domestic violence. And I just open my heart to any who's been through any of that. And I just want you to know that I understand. I understand and I see you. And I it's for you to know that you are someone, and you must begin to understand your own worth, because I didn't. I didn't. I'm so sorry.
No, do not apologize, my sister. Thank you so much for that medicine. I heard it before, I felt it, but I have so much healing that I need. I have received every word with love. I see you and every other woman who's ever gone through that as a victim as well of partner abuse.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to even see the rest of this agenda. Oh, my heart. This is what we're here to do, to hold our joy, hold our sorrow, and be here in spite of and because of everything we've ever gone through. Together, you are not alone and you are seen.
No, you're not alone. You're
Oh,
not alone. And I was
and yes,
telling
we
her
matter.
Millie the other day, I said to her, that term, helpmate, that kept coming to me. And I'm saying, helpmate to who? I mean, I know what the Bible says. I am, as I said, I'm an ordained man. I know what the Bible says, but we're more than just a helpmate to our partners. Yes, we help, but we need help too. And
Yes,
you
yes,
know,
yes.
but you have to, as I said, a woman's place starts in her own mind, and you
Mm.
have to know who you are. You have to know that you are worthy. And so once you know that, it's easy to submit your heart and become a helpmate, as long as you know that you're not being used and abused, and that it's okay.
And it's by choice.
Yes,
By choice,
yes.
because you're carrying your piece and you're not responsible for
It's
everybody
your
else's.
choice.
And
That's
that's
right.
also part of the lesson, to that back to the red thread is about
Yes.
taking responsibility for only what's ours to carry, and we can still support and show compassion and guide and grow with. But your piece is your piece, and
Yeah.
you have the power of no, because by yeah. And I've been married several times. I'm not even gonna tell y'all how many times, but I know, and that's my MO, is to be the helpmate, because that's what I thought it meant, or it looked like, for me to feel worthy.
And
If I'm
you're
a good
worthy.
girl and make everybody else happy, then happiness will be returned to me. But it's not till I decided that I need to take a stand for me
Yeah.
and start living on my terms and letting them know, no, I do have a voice.
Yes, you do. And you matter. And I'm not bashing men at all. I have two
No,
sons,
we're
love them.
not.
I'm not
Yeah,
doing that
no,
at
we're
all
not.
for anybody
Anyone,
who may
whether it's
think otherwise.
whatever kind of relationship, because it can be
Yeah.
your kids too. They
Yeah, it
can
doesn't
run
matter
you.
who it is. I'm just saying, take care of you. Know your worth. That's
Yes.
all I'm saying. No, because I didn't know mine.
Mm,
I've been married twice. My first husband was truly uh, a physical and emotional abuser. And the
mm,
second one has been financially and emotional. And, I've been through that gamut. And
mhm.
the night that I was raped, my first husband played with a band, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and he left that night to go with Harold Melvin, and someone broke in and raped me. And when the detective, who was a very nasty person, asked me, "You sure you didn't entice him knowing your husband was gone?" But whatever the situation, when he called my husband and told him that I had been raped, and I went up to Boston, he hit me in my jaw, because he said the detective told him, he said the detective told him that it was a boyfriend. Now,
Oh,
this was not a detective who handled rape. I saw that person the next day. But here I am already in trauma.
right. And they're just putting the blame on you.
And yes, which happens to a lot of rape victims anyway.
Mhm. But we,
Yes.
but we, we showed them, didn't we? Right? We are here. Like, we're not letting that knock us down, because here we are, just bold, beautiful, present, and have so much to offer the world. And thank you for
Yeah.
that gift, that poem. I don't know about y'all, but yeah, I'm gonna have to do some serious integration. like, I'm seriously, I'm so grateful for my for my canvas because I might have to go take one of those paintbrushes that my painters left downstairs because they're painting my first floor, and I might just have to go to town with a big one. Speaking of paintings, my
Yes.
love, the painting behind you, which one is she?
This is
What's her
my
name?
this is my first painting with shallow. This is my legend painting.
Oh
Um,
wow!
and it's the first one. And I'm
Let me put
telling
you on
you,
solo.
music and words. I'm sorry. Oh
No, I
yeah.
wanted to. There you go.
Oh, when I was painting her hair, I was listening to Amber Good's Summoning the Healer.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a space. I just I was letting go of all of that perfectionism and everything else. And I just listened to the music and I just, because I was trying to do something else. And when I heard the music, I was like, no, this is what you need to do. And I had never painted on canvas. I've done a lot of, paintings on furniture and different things, but never on canvas. This
Mm.
was my first painting. And the reason I even came into intentional creativity is because I lost my mother last January and I lost my sister in May. And she was unexpected. Um, and I said, I want to live. I want to live. And I've been receiving Shiloh's communication since 2008. But when I got that email after my sister made her transition, I said, "This I have to be a part of this. This is my tribe. This is my tribe. You're my
Mm.
tribe.
Oh.
All of it. Red Madonna,
Mm.
color of woman. It doesn't matter. Red thread. You're my tribe."
Mm.
And I just that's my legend. That's my
Oh,
legend.
and a beautiful legend you are.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you are. Oh my goodness. Wow. I love. I'm just trying to gather myself
I
because I
understand.
have to let you know I've had the privilege of having several of, being the host for a creative conversation and witnessing so many of the powerful and brilliant women in our community, in our circles. And I have to say that you have moved me to no ends.
Oh,
And I need to stop.
oh,
Oh,
oh.
yes. So I know I'm receiving this all because I know that I have so much deep healing to do. And I want to thank you with all of my being for stepping into the power of your words and speaking your wisdom and your medicine into the world and into my heart and into the hearts of everyone who allows your words to penetrate their soul. And I wish that your words just continue to be the balm and the healing to every being, woman, otherwise, that needs to receive, even if they never hear your words. I actually see your words going through the fabric of this universe, all the way around the world, and being absorbed by every creature, being, plant, animal. It doesn't matter. Wherever this medicine is needed, I see it being received.
I receive your words. I
Mm,
receive your words as being prophetic to me.
mm,
And I thank you for that. I thank you for your wisdom, for that prophecy to me, and I receive it. I receive it
mm.
with everything that I am. I just love you so much. I just love
I love you too.
you.
Oh, my. Well, you answered my next question, which was how did you come to intentional creativity? So you heard the
Yes,
call
I'm
and you just
sorry.
said, that's me. I need it. No. And this is it. This is called flow. We're not scripting. Yeah, we have structure, but we are here allowing the happening to happen. And that is the beauty of this. And I've learned to surrender to it because it is such a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So, oh my goodness. Uh,
But that's how I came. My sisters, it's so funny how death can bring life to something else
mm,
or someone else because her transition is what got me here. And I'm not saying I wouldn't have come because, at some point, but it was her death. I heard a story once that a lady was in a coma, and my sister was as well, but a lady was in a coma, and she, the being of light showed her children's life, if she lived or if she didn't. And when she saw that they wouldn't fare any better either way, she chose to live. And I thought about that when my sister transitioned, and I said, maybe she saw everybody's life and what would happen when the being of life showed her children, my children, and me. And maybe she chose to go so that our lives could be better. I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know. But I know without her transition, at this time, at this juncture, I'm not saying maybe a year or two later, but at this time, this is why I'm here
mm,
now. And it's just helped
honoring
me
you in
so.
that.
It helped me so. It has helped me. I'm like an onion that's being peeled. I've
Healed.
done so much work on my life. I've done a lot of work. But this program, it's like, girl, let's get down to the real nitty-gritty of this onion. You thought you were. Let's. I'm healed enough, but honey, you got more to do.
Yes, and every moment we're coming in there, we're healed enough to peel off the next layer. Oh my God, I love it. Yes, so yeah, yeah, intentional creativity is a beautiful thing. It is changing lives, um, and continues. It continues. It is such a just a powerful, powerful thing and a way of being and walking in the world. It
Yes.
is truly, truly transformative. And thank you for witnessing that and for sharing your story, and how it has impacted you. So if anyone's, you want to find out more about our uh, university and our
I'm a student.
yeah, our certification programs, you can definitely go to our website, which is iMusea schools. I know that they're going to put it into the chat, into the comments. You'll get the links there. We offer so many, different programs. We have the university. We have our also, which these sort of certification programs are the Colored Woman, which I graduated from, and you are on the journey, Red Thread Guide. Uh, and we have so many others, and it's just the catalog and menu of teachings and ways that you can bring intentional creativity into the world and get certified through Musea's university. Musea University is just growing. Um, and uh, we also have, I mentioned before that you've been a featured artist and exhibiting artist in many of our museum shows, and two of them were from our Sacred Echoes of the Well Circle for Women of Color, and that is a member benefit. And we are actually in the process of preparing to do a festival, and you will be, it's called the Sacred Echoes of Your Well Festival, and you will be one of the presenters, and you're going to be bringing, your offering is going to be about poetry, so we're going to have that to look forward to, so
Okay.
thank you for that. And for those who are interested, just stay tuned, because we'll be providing information about that at a later date as we get closer to the event. So stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled for that, so that you can definitely experience Michelle's teaching and offering, along with several other of our Sacred Echoes membership, powerful women. And they're all going to bring in something that that's going to just rock your world. And it'll be also led by our leadership, Semery Strawn and Elder Lauren
Lauren.
Adona Weatherford. We just, oh my God, I love those ladies. Yeah, you have 9 presenters scheduled for this live event. It is going to be live, and each one is going to bring their offering, and we'll have conversations such as this with our leadership, and they will lead into each presentation. So it's going to be awesome, and we love bringing programming such as this, because we need to be heard. We need to show our images. We need to tell our story through whatever form of expression that we choose in our hearts, because we want to keep bringing that big love into the world. And that's what this is all about, bringing love and healing into the world. So thank you for taking on the thread and for sharing it with us and for holding it with us and being on this journey.
Oh,
Oh.
thank you for inviting me. I really am so grateful and humble. Thank you so much.
Oh no, definitely, definitely. Yeah, oh, we have so much more to do. And um if what we share with you today inspires you to become a member, if you're not a member yet, then please consider membership. Our basic membership, our artist membership starts at $10 a month, and it pays for itself. As you can see, just we have so many different offerings, classes, resources that help to, you to cultivate your own creative practice and creative journey, and creating creative sanctuary. So come on over. We have other monthly programs and offerings, like the Echo. We have the Echoes. So for the Echoes, we have Echoes Pop Open Studio once a month for members of our Sacred Echoes group, and that is a benefit of membership as well, if you so choose. And also for our global community, we have on the last Fridays of the month, we have a Pop Open Studio where we let everybody who's a member in, and we paint together, we dance. I'm one of the co-hosts there, holding space with my beloved co-host and sister, Samaya Yates, well, when she's in pop form, she's DJ Wisdom. So, but we love holding space for our community and getting you moving with some somatic energy and just being together in a place where you can just be you. So those are a few of the member benefits that we offer, and there's just so much more. We have a universal calendar as well. So if you want to keep up with everything that's happening, regardless of the space, definitely visit our calendar. And we just have so many different offerings, and I know we have a few coming up. So we will be posting those in the comments later to make sure you have all the links. Yep, there we go. Universal calendar right there. And yeah, it's been so, I'm just beside
Wonderful.
myself. So thank you all. Thank you all for joining us, for witnessing us, for listening. Whether you're listening now, if you catch the replay, please, add your thoughts, your insights into the comments. We do watch, we do read them. We want you to engage. It's not just about us talking at you. We are in conversation with you. So, your voice matters as well. So we would love to hear what you may have harvested from this conversation with Michelle. And, if you have poetry, like, yeah, write a poem, put it in a comment. Definitely, whatever you're inspired to do, express yourself, be in conversation in whichever way that you feel, called to. So thank you so much for joining us for another creative conversation. Thank you again, Michelle, for the blessing of all that you are and all that you bring.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
And we will be
It was
returning next
wonderful.
month.
And you're such a great
Thank you, honored. Oh, so with that, we will see you next month at the next creative conversation, and that will be on April 26th. So stay tuned. Bye for now.
Bye bye.